Hey guys, it's Jason the Birdnerd Sansove coming back with another activity for our spring field trips. Right now, we're in the woodland for our What's in the Woods activity. Okay, we'll start with our supplies again, some things that you need. Don't forget your senses, right? Touch, feel. Don't forget to smell as well. Paper and pencil in case you want to write some things down or draw what you see. And then some optional things if you've got them. Some sort of viewer like a magnifying glass, or I've got this cool jeweler's loupe, or maybe a bug viewer or jar if you've got one. Remember, sometimes just a peanut butter jar works, okay? Then you also, if you've got a stick or a pair of tweezers, or even just something slightly pokey like a small screwdriver that your parents will let you use, those are gonna be handy too, okay? Our vocab words for this activity to think about are riparian, lichen, moss, fungus, and a really important one, decomposition. So let's take a quick pause in the video right there if you want to look up some of those, especially decomposition. All right, we're back. Decomposition, let's talk about that, and that's what we're going to look at in a second. Living in the woodland, of course, with all of the trees, right? That's what makes up a woodland. There's also a really important progress that happens. Some really cool process that goes on called decomposition. That's where things like plants and leaves and stuff start to die and rot, right? Even animals too. And they end up turning back into soil. Okay? One way to look at that is to just dig in the leaf litter. Or if it's even better, if you can find a dead log, like we've got a really big one right here, that's when you take your tools and you poke in there and see what you can find. So I'm going to take my tweezers and my little screwdriver, and I'm just going to very slowly try to break some pieces off of this really cool old dead tree. You could even use your fingers if you don't mind washing them afterwards, which is probably good to do anyway. Make sure to smell it. It even starts to smell like dirt, because ultimately that's what it's going to turn into, which is really cool. There's signs of animals being here. I don't see any right now, but like there's tunnels where maybe there was a larva of a bug that was living. Maybe an ant or a spider lived in there. Because decomposition is warm. It causes heat. So the animals, especially in the winter, things like insects and arachnids, they need to stay warm if they're going to make it through the winter. Some of them don't, but some do. So they might want to live in a tunnel like this. So if I can poke that apart, see if I can break some pieces off. Oh yeah, so this right here. See all that light fluffy stuff? That is called frass. F-R-A-S-S, I think. I might have spelled that wrong. Best to look it up. But that usually is some sort of caterpillar or larva. That's their droppings. That's what frass is. So they burrowed through the wood. Wood is what they ate while they were changing into a beetle or something else. And they dropped that in that tunnel. Very cool. So take some time, you guys, and just dig through your logs. See what you can find. In just a second, we're going to look for more. But that's the first activity. So let's take a pause there. And then maybe when you're done, write down all the things you saw. Maybe write down what it smelled like. And write down if you found anything like ants, larvae, or caterpillars. All right, we are back. So we looked in our dead log. We looked under some leaves and learned all about decomposition. Now I want to search and do our woodland scavenger hunt for 3 really unique organisms that are like none other on the planet. Let me show you. So I got one right here. This really cool bright stuff that is living right on the bark of the wood is lichen. And lichen is not like anything else on the planet. It's actually 2 organisms living together to create another one. It is Freddy fungus and Alice algae took a lichen to each other. So fungus and algae form a partnership and become lichen. But it's not a plant and it's not an animal. It's its own thing. There are 2 other organisms that are sort of like and unique like lichen that are also their own organisms. Moss and fungus. Fungus is probably the most famous. You might know that one because mushrooms are a type of fungus and people know those. We even eat them sometimes. And moss, sometimes people think that's in the water, but that's different. That's a plant. moss is usually on the north side of a rock or a tree. So we're gonna go looking for all three of those really cool organisms, moss, lichen, and fungus, and see if we can find some right around here. Okay? Follow me this way, we'll see if we can find some. One thing to remember about moss when you're looking is here in the northern hemisphere, it needs to stay moist. So it will always be on the north side of the tree. Right now I'm on the south side because I know where the sun is, over there. So we're gonna look on this side of the tree. Go around if we can. Let's see. Oh yeah, you guys look at this. Right down here. It's like a mini forest, but it's not a plant. It's its own organism. Very cool. Let's see how it's in the shady spot on this tree right near the bottom. It does that on a rock too. Now one of our other cool organisms is right here too. Look at all the lichen living right on the bark as we go up. Oh, here's some really cool one. Some gray and some green. It can be lots of different colors. Orange. But again, that's that fungus and algae living together to be lichen. So we've got lichen and moss. Now we just need to try to find some fungus. It's early in the season, so sometimes it's hard to find. The mushroom kind isn't up out of the ground yet, but I think I know where there is some. Follow me. So fungus, you guys, is one of the most important animals, or not animals, see I did it wrong already. One of the most important organisms on the planet. It's actually the largest one, way out under the Pacific Northwest. There is a fungus so big, it is bigger than anything else living. It's crazy. And it spreads kind of like roots, but they're not roots. They're called mycelium, and it spreads so it can live. If you look right up here on the tree, we've got a couple of shelf or bracket fungus living right there off the bark. So they can get everything they need to live right there. So that's a really fun activity. You can even just do from the window if you want. Or if you've got a backyard or a park really close and you're still able to get outside, check for fungus, lichen, and moss. And that is our woodland activity. We're going to head back to our chart and just review our vocab words in a second. And I got a couple of questions to wrap up with, okay? Follow me back there. All right, we had a fun time exploring in the woods. It's one of my favorite places other than being out on the prairie. And let's review. So our words are riparian. If you look that one up, I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with trees along water, like a creek or a river. We talked already and found some lichen, some moss, and some fungus. Those are those three really unique organisms that live in the woods. And don't forget, very important process going on in the woods, decomposition. Turning all those dead animals, plants, and everything back into really good soil. Explore the woods, you guys, if you get a chance, or read up about them on the internet or in a book with your parents, and see what more you can find out. Let's talk about our questions, though, to end, okay? See if you can name 3 types of decomposers, right? We didn't find any in the log I looked in, but you might have things that are helping those plants and leaves break down. One, I'll give you a hint, the most famous, roly-polies, really cool. Okay. B is, can you name those 3 organisms? We just talked about them. Those 3 organisms that are not like any other animals on the planet. They live in the woods. And finally, do you remember what 2 of those organisms make up lichen? See if you can remember those, and don't forget, explore the woods. It's a lot of fun.